Karen,
Yes,
you and I have talked about plant medicine a lot,
we have.
right? There's a movement that's sweeping the world right now. Things like
Mhm.
ayahuasca and mushrooms are everywhere.
Everywhere.
And a lot of people are finding that using them helps them expand their consciousness and take them further down their path of enlightenment.
Mhm.
Now, what if I told you that there is a new type of plant medicine that's not new at all? That it's been experienced ceremonially through indigenous ceremonies for thousands of years, but it's only just now getting to the Western world.
So it's like a reemergence, sorts.
Kinda. And what if I told you that you are already consuming it in your everyday life?
Then I'd be saying, what the heck? I should be happier.
I mean, pretty much everyone has eaten this or is eating this on a regular basis. Well, today we visit with a heart-opening, consciousness-raising, infinite intelligence that is beginning to take the spiritual world by craze.
Ooh.
Welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Hi, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
And today's main topic revolves around a heart-opening, consciousness-raising, infinite intelligence that we're already all partaking in without even knowing it.
I like it.
Yeah, now that's a simplistic way to introduce the topic, obviously. Though we're all partaking of the medicine, we're missing a very critical element that actually activates this powerful intelligence. We're talking about the power of cacao. And with us today to help us sort out all the facts from the myths, we have author and cacao spirit medicine ceremonialist, Judy Machado. Judy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, Will and Karen. I just love the way that you introduced cacao like that. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you both.
Karen, you know what that tells me? It tells me you got it right finally.
I know, right?
Oh,
All right. So, Judy, we have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, right, let's set the table. You say that cacao has exponentially accelerated your spiritual journey. Now, I eat chocolate on a daily basis.
I don't think Hershey's counts well.
Well, I was going to say, I find myself still stuck in the same spiritual place I was in yesterday. So how exactly can cacao be considered a sacred drink, and how can it expand our consciousness?
wow. Well, thank you for bringing up chocolate first, because that is such a beautiful place to start. So chocolate is the world's number one favorite food, isn't it? Chocolate is the world's number one favorite food. Everyone loves chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
And yet, notice that it's also the number one gift for romance or for Mother's Day or when we love someone. And so the energy of the chocolate, even though it's been processed over and over and over again before, and other ingredients and sugars, all this other stuff's been added to it, yet it is the world's number one favorite food, has such a beautiful energy of love. Can you imagine in its raw form? And this is what is so beautiful and so magical about cacao, this beautiful master plant medicine. And if I can start actually with what is a plant medicine? Why is this called a master plant medicine? And so there are beautiful cosmic spirits that have manifested themselves on some of our plants here on Earth School or on Earth, whatever you wish to call it. And you might ask, okay, that's interesting. Why would these cosmic spirits manifest themselves on some of our plants, including cacao?
Yeah,
Which chocolate too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Why
just
couldn't we just
around.
talk to this beautiful cosmic spirit, which of course we can, but in our limited form here on Earth School, we have a bodysuit. And so in our limited form, we eat and drink to stay alive. And so when we consume these plant medicines, which are these cosmic spirits that are supporting us there's certain cosmic spirits supporting us by manifesting themselves on certain plants here on our earth. When we drink or eat or drink these plant medicines with honor and reverence and sacredness, that's the key. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. with the real understanding that this is a cosmic, beautiful, whole spirit and being and consciousness. When we consume them in this way, they go right into our blood system, right? When we drink something, when we eat, right into our blood system within just minutes. And so this is one way that these medicines help us to support us in our expansion, in taking us on these journeys, these very open-hearted, expanding beyond our current state of awareness journeys. And each plant medicine is very different, has a different purpose, and takes us on different journeys. And so, believe it or not, cacao, the main ingredient to make chocolate, I also just 5 years ago heard this, and there was something deep in my bones that I needed to experience this. I needed to go to a cacao ceremony. I needed to remember what this is and reconnect with that beautiful cosmic spirit. And so there's so much we're going to share about how, in terms of the mind, the body, and the spirit. But first to share, cacao is not a psychedelic. So like many of the plant medicines, right? We know some of ayahuasca or some of the mushrooms are psychedelic, and you typically have a journey where typically you're sort of, you're standing still, or you're sitting. Maybe it's an overnight journey, such as with grandma ayahuasca. But with cacao, it's a very, very gentle journey. She is here to open up our heart. She's here to literally head into our heart chakra and open it up like a blossoming flower. Because what's happened is, if you can imagine your heart like this really beautiful, tight bud, this flower, like a peony, if you can imagine. They're so beautiful when they're tight buds, as well as when they're open. But the tight buds, and it just wants to open. And what's happened is, over the years, we've been, we've had things happen to us, and we've created perhaps stories or meaning around all the things that have happened to us. And so we keep putting like a Band-Aid. Oh, this happened to me, so therefore here's my story. And a Band-Aid keeps our heart shut so tight, so tight. And these medicines are here to help us to just one by one, especially cacao, because she's very gentle, open up one of those Band-Aids. And she literally, as she opens up your heart chakra is activated. You feel love. You feel euphoria sometimes. And as you feel this, she starts to sprinkle into your awareness other perspectives around some of those stories or limiting beliefs or triggers, or, last week's text message that really upset you because how dare your cousin say that to you, or whatever it was. We're holding on to these perceptions. And it comes into your awareness. She brings us into your awareness again. And because your heart is in this space of being so open and so softened, right? That tight bud is really softer now. We are more open to look at these other perspectives. She's taking us into a higher place of, is it possible that we have one perspective of many other perspectives? And taking us into these plant medicines take us into a place bigger than our box, than what we truly believe we are. And there's a beautiful, if I can share, there's a beautiful analogy about consciousness, and I'm going to show it to you right now. I love to share this analogy. It's so beautiful, or this little demonstration, if I can call it, is taking a piece of paper, and I'm rolling this piece of paper. So I've taken a piece of paper and I've rolled it, and now I'm going to look through this piece of paper, but I'm going to make it really, really tight. So now it's still too big. I'm going to make it super tight. I'm going to look through this piece of paper. And now I see myself. That is all I see. So all I see myself. So all I'm really concerned about is myself. And that's all I really care about is, okay, I see myself. How can I take care of myself? And then as I start to expand this piece of paper, I can see, so for example, if we were on Zoom, which we're not, but let's pretend that, we were, I would see you next to me. And then I would see, oh, look at this. There's, Will and Karen next to me. This is so beautiful. We're having a conversation. And we're actually, there you are, beautiful. And there you are. That was some good timing. I love it. There we are. Look at this. You've always been there. But isn't it interesting how I didn't notice you were always there? And I'm opening up even more. And now I'm noticing, as we open this up even more, where I am. I'm in my room. What's the weather like? Who's over there and who's over there? And it's just like consciousness. We go through this beautiful journey of going through the narrow version, the limited consciousness. And then we start to expand. And we start to see what's always been there around us, whether it's unity, peace. Maybe we don't see peace initially because we're like, again, when you only see you and you're only concerned about you, you're in a different state of consciousness. When we start to see more people, we start to see more love, we start to actually experience the higher perceptions, the higher awareness, higher levels of consciousness. And this is what these plant medicines are doing. They're kind of like stretching the paper for us a little bit, if you can imagine. Sometimes really far out, and you're like, wow. And then you come back to your life.
Make it stop.
Yeah.
Judy,
exactly.
You have now answered at least 6 of the questions I had for you. So thank you. That was fantastic. But you make it sound so appealing and so amazing.
Well, she has this energy. She's just like full of love and excitement and joy, and it just radiates.
I know, and it's almost like
I just want to listen to you.
I was just going to say
what
that.
else you got?
I was just going to say that. I just want to take a back seat and just let you talk because this is wonderful. Okay, so I mean, all this sounds amazing and wonderful and exciting and all that kind of stuff, but how is it? Is it just the ceremonial aspect of it, the actual ceremony that separates? Because, Hershey's is my best friend. So could I do this with just a Hershey's bar and just ceremonially eat it like that, and it opens up my heart?
I just have this image of you in the corner, chocolate all over your face. Like, woo.
That's not a bad image, actually.
You'd be in your happy place.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a great image, Will.
I mean, it does make me happy when I eat Hershey's. Maybe that's what it is. By the way, this episode is not brought to you by Hershey's.
Right.
Oh, no. Oh my God, yes.
So I have a degree in anthropology, and I remember studying about the Maya using chocolate and when the Spaniards came, and they said it was a very bitter drink. So, and Will and I actually went to Ecuador, and we visited a cacao farm. And so we got to eat some of the fresh fruit and watch the whole process of how they make it into chocolate. What type of cacao do you use for this type of ceremony?
Yeah, so it is important that you find and you buy ceremonial cacao. And what that means is that the farmers, those who are fermenting the cacao, those who are packaging the cacao, transporting, selling the cacao, all along the stages, everyone is aware that the cacao is a master plant medicine. It is a cosmic spirit. It is honored and respected with devotion all along that process. So that's called ceremonial cacao.
Right.
And so if you go to
definitely not Hershey's then.
No.
Not going to the grocery store or the 7-Eleven.
But then what is that? Is it if you don't get this type of ceremonial cacao, if it's not treated in a certain way, does it kill the medicine within it, or why is that?
Yeah, well, everything's intention and energy. Now, first of all, I do believe that when we are in a state of awareness that we can, we know with plant medicines, we can drink and connect with the medicine, but also we can speak to her at any time as well, especially once you've had her once and you've connected. You can go days and days and days and still continue to speak with the medicine. That's for a whole other episode or podcast episode around that these cosmic spirits, we can speak to them also without consuming them. However, everything is in this level of definitely, we are expanding into that understanding that we are whole. First of all, we are the medicines, and that's what they want to share with us. They want to show us that we are the medicines, but everything's in stages, right? So right now we're in a stage of really connecting with them, drinking with them, speaking to them. And as we start to evolve and build this devotional, sacred, beautiful relationship with them, we can speak to them at any time, and they're always with us, and they start to send us messages. Clarity, we ask for clarity or for consistency or for certain things in our life, or to just be this open vessel and have their beautiful frequency and consciousness come through us to share for others. And so it is beautiful and very important at first, for sure, to have ceremonial cacao, to go through that honoring process. And you went to see a beautiful farm too. I don't know if they had, if they were aware or even some farms are not even aware. I mean,
if they were aware, I don't think they made it known to me anyway. I didn't see. At the same time, I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know that there was such a thing as ceremonial cacao.
Yes. It's very interesting. I was helping my brother-in-law start his chocolate business a few years ago. And that's when this whole thing came to me. He started sharing. He was at an ayahuasca journey in Peru, 14 days with beautiful Shipibo Canibo tribe. And he came back and shared that. And they very much, this understanding, he was just saying that all over, even though it was an ayahuasca journey, all over, there were cacao trees everywhere. And he came back and said that the beautiful Shipibo Canibo tribe were telling him that this was also a plant medicine. And when he came back and shared this, it was like something inside of me knew, wow, and this is happening with many of us, that it's literally these medicines call on us. The medicine was calling on you, that the spirit was calling on you to go to that farm, to first, like the seeds, to start to seed the understanding of what is the medicine. These are all seeds within us, and the seeds, when they start to ferment, or they start to grow when we start to water them. And so here we are now on this discussion, this beautiful conversation about cacao, and these spirits are calling on us because they call on us when we are in a place of readiness to change, to shift, to let go. We have to surrender old beliefs and paradigms and stories in order to expand, right? Everything is a release and an expansion, a release and expansion. So in order to step into a higher awareness, we have to have a new belief, because our beliefs are keeping us in patterns, right? Everything we believe shows up for us. I believe it's hard to do this. Well, guess what? It's going to show up, that physical manifestation to support your belief. And so these medicines help to open up the veil a little bit, right? So we can experience not only this gorgeous feeling of unconditional love for ourselves, for everyone, but also start to see other things beyond our current perspective, like the individuality of what we believe is the individuality of ourselves, which is, one of the biggest lies ever told is that we are separate. But we look at each other like, of course we're separate, but really they want to show us that we are actually one. We are the medicine. We are each other, simply being beautiful reflections for each other. And they want to take us into that journey.
Right.
And I like how you use the term release instead of surrender, because I think for a lot of people, surrender does have somewhat of a connotation with weakness or like a negative connotation, whereas release, you're just getting rid of it. Right. So if you can kind of turn your head around thinking of surrender as being a release, I think people would be on board.
Yeah. Judy, I want to do a ceremony with you. I feel like you would bring such a great, I hate to use the word trip, but in a way it would be, it just feels really comfortable. Now, I do have a question though, that I'm sure a lot of people that are listening are probably going to have. When looking into different plant medicines, you run across inevitably the controversy with like peyote, for example, indigenous people being really concerned about other people appropriating it, and because it may not be enough and that kind of thing. So would we be treading on indigenous peoples if we started doing ceremonial cacao?
Beautiful question. Such an important question. And it's very interesting. If I could share first, we're seeing this popularity in these ceremonies everywhere, right? Everyone seems to be, I just tried this and I'm going to host a ceremony. And it's very, 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 very important that we understand that these cosmic spirits, when they call on us, they want to journey with us. They, if and when the time comes where you're to host a ceremony, they will tell you. There is nobody that can tell you that you're ready. These medicines are calling on us to expand, to bring us into their awareness, to expand our awareness, to support us in this release and becoming something new, so that we can be the embodiment of them and supporting and holding the space for others. If and when they initiate us, if and when that medicine, that cosmic spirit initiates us. And so that's so important. And so, yes, in terms of our beautiful indigenous families, these medicines, these plant medicines, up until recently, really just 10 years ago, were only calling upon our beautiful indigenous shamans, families, conscious teachers and leaders, because they were in a place of resonance. They were ready to receive the wisdom and the teachings that the medicines wish to bring to us. And now, as we're all expanding quickly, there is a misalignment and a misunderstanding of, oh, well, this is wonderful. I just did ceremony. Now I can share this in ceremony and charge for this or whatever it is. Where we're all coming back. We get excited, right? And we want to share this really fast. and we want to, support others. And it is a beautiful intention. We really want to support, but it's very important with master plant medicines that they choose you. They wish to take you on an incredible journey. And then and part of that journey is speaking to them. That's the other thing is speaking directly to these medicines, is understanding that the relationships that they wish, the relationship is going to expand when you bring that kind of honor and devotion and speak directly to them and ask and you shall receive, right? This is one of the most important things that we need to understand in life, that we are here and we have free will, and these beautiful medicines, these cosmic spirits from the other side that really we come from. And we've just chosen to be here right now. There was an agreement. Okay, we're going to temporarily forget who we are. We're going to be here and temporarily forget. But when you ask is when we can intervene, when we can help again.
Right.
That's free will. And so beautiful, that question. So important.
Yeah.
So you say that the plant medicines have to choose you. How do you know? I mean, I know Will's going to tell me chocolate chooses him every day. But
every day.
How do you know if the cacao has chosen you? What is it? A feeling? Are you visions? Yeah. How does that
Karen,
work?
that's a great question. But before you answer that, Judy, we need to take a quick break. I think that's a perfect way to usher us into the break. When we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about that. We're going to dive more into cacao itself, and we'll explore how we can all incorporate cacao on a daily basis in our lives. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. We are speaking with Judy Machado, who is a cacao ceremonialist. We're talking about this beautiful plant medicine that has been used by indigenous peoples for thousands of years, but is just now starting to make its way into the Western civilization, Western consciousness. But the interesting thing about this plant medicine is it doesn't take you really on a trip, right? And let me just clarify that, Judy, make sure I'm correct. You are in control, right? With peyote, with ayahuasca, with mushrooms, you leave your mind. With cacao, that's not the case. Is that right?
Yeah, with cacao, there are moments where you could possibly feel so euphoric that you're not even there anymore.
But that's the term, right? It's euphoria. It's not.
Yes,
trip,
exactly. Not outside of your body. You're always present. You're always there. Cacao's a very gentle medicine and plant. She wants to be with you in your day to day. She wants to support you in your day to day. And that's why she's so beautiful and so perfect also for creativity. There's so much in the cacao. It's such an incredible superfood to help us with our body as well, not just our mind and our spirit, but our body. Copper, magnesium, iron, all of the different natural compounds to help us to feel happy and good. Serotonin, dopamine, PEA, anandamide. These are these feel-good chemicals, and yet we look around the world and so many people are on antidepressants. And what if we could all start every morning with a cup of raw cacao, raw, beautiful cacao, not only to help with those beautiful natural transmitters within us, but to connect with something bigger than us, to connect with something bigger than us. It's reminding us through this beautiful journey that we are not victims. We are the creators of this life. We have just temporarily forgotten, because that was the agreement coming here to Earth School, was that we're going to temporarily forget and go through this journey of evolution, which is EVOL, love spelt backwards. Sometimes it hurts, right? We have to experience love backwards, the pain, for us to experience the challenge, right?
Right.
So it's this beautiful journey of evolution. And we go through this journey to remember more and more and more of who we are.
I love it. And right before the break, Karen, you asked a really fantastic question that I didn't let Judy answer. So why don't you go ahead and restate the question?
I love it.
Well, I was asking, so you had mentioned that with plant medicines, they choose you. And my question is, how do you know if cacao has chosen you? Are you getting visions? Is it a feeling? Is it cravings? How do you know?
Yeah.
Great question.
Yes, beautiful. How you're going to know is you're going to hear, it's going to be in your awareness. So you're going to hear somewhere cacao versus maybe cocoa, hot cocoa. There's a very big difference between cacao and cocoa, which we'll get to in a minute. So you'll start hearing cacao. So it might be a cacao ceremony. You're like, cacao. That sounds like a chocolate. What is that? So cacao ceremony, you might hear ceremonial cacao. You might hear somebody talking about, on a podcast somewhere like this, where you're hearing suddenly ceremonial cacao or the story of cacao. It starts to come to you more and more and more into your awareness. And you will just know at some point it will be flow, that you will either be in a ceremony or you will be on this podcast and you'll be saying, what is this? I've never heard of this, but this sounds really interesting. Okay. Now I'm going to go buy ceremonial cacao and drink this. And that's how she calls to you in these beautiful ways.
This sounds exactly like my relationship with Hershey's.
I love it. It's so funny. Oh my God. It's so true though. We love chocolate, right? And thank you for bringing it back to chocolate, because we love chocolate. It makes it feel so good. And so it is such a powerful vibration of love. That is what Mama Cacao, in fact, we call her that, Mama Cacao, because she's like nurturing and loving. And you feel that she is like a mama, like a mother energy.
I think it sounds like, Karen, now that it's in our orbit, I think we might need to start looking into this. I did have a question though, because I am a sucker for the sugar. And I know cacao is not exactly the same taste as it. I know it's definitely not at all. Like, when you first take on that cacao, is it going to be a harsh awakening? What does it taste like?
So it smells like chocolate. Ooh. It looks like chocolate, but it is quite bitter. And so there is no sugar. And so I say a few things with that. One is just take a first sip. That we're going to get to a little solution for you if you must have sugar, but take a first little sip and just see if you can just kind of feel this. Okay. It's like earthy, sort of earthy, Mother Earth, Pachamama, this sort of connection, deeper connection. And yet I totally understand where you're coming from. How can we sort of weed our way into putting some sugar and then removing? And you can do that with, natural organic sugars. So like cane sugar, natural organic cane sugar, coconut sugar. If you're going to use something, use these natural sugars. Something that's also natural and can be honored, right? An actual honorable sort of natural organic ingredients that we can add.
And I guess that wouldn't take away from the power of the plant medicine.
Some may say that it does, but I find that the alternative is you're not going to drink it. And so I want you to keep drinking it. Yep. And then just, for some people, they're like, whoa, there's no way. And then they get rid of it. And it's like, it's okay. She still wants to work with you in however we're showing up, however we want to.
You're making this really easy on us. This is nice. This is great. We need to have a lot more people like you.
Right.
Well, it's true. I really do believe that perhaps there was a time where it was like an absolute no. And I feel like we're coming into a time where what resonates for me. And, there are collective sort of ways that we do things. And then we're all stepping into our individuality, but also our unity. And in doing that, it's like we're questioning everything. And sort of with, okay, if I really want to keep drinking this, then maybe I will do some of this, and maybe I'll just start weaning off of it and at some point not have any, versus there's no way I'm going to drink this again because it's too strong. So I really believe that we have to honor ourselves too, and honor the baby steps sometimes that we need to take on a journey.
Okay.
I mean, Will, you drink black coffee or espresso without sugar sometimes. So I would imagine it's kind of like that sort of a slightly different flavor, but that kind of strength and bitterness.
Yes, it is. And you know what? I always find I like to add either cinnamon. Cinnamon is also a plant medicine. It opens up our heart. So a little bit of cinnamon. So if you have it on its own with cinnamon, or even an essential oil. So if you have any pure essential oils, a tiny little drop, because those can be so strong depending on which one you use. But sometimes I'll use like a tangerine or an orange essential oil. That's pure medicine too, coming from these fruits. So you can just put a tiny little drop, and now you have a little taste. It's not quite sugar, but it's nice. And then some people will add like an almond milk, an organic almond milk too. Ideally, we want to have just beautiful spring water with it. But again, enjoy it, experience it, drink her, talk to her. What's more important is that you have your cup and that you can sit with her, because what's so beautiful, I want to share, Will and Karen, this incredible thing that happens when you start to make the cacao at the stove. She appears in various layers for you. And what I mean by that is, imagine you have a little, a little pot, and you've just put some, cacao paste or powder, and you've added your water, and now it's warm, and, you're stirring. What starts to appear as you stir and then you stop stirring, it's so hypnotic. The journey starts there. You stop stirring and this design kind of slows down, and then some design appears, and then you start to see, I've counted 5 layers. So you can see what looks like, when oil and water separates, you know how you can see when oil and water, well, you could see what looks like water, and then you see below that what looks like soil. So I always think of like the earth, Mother Earth. She wants to connect us to Mother Earth. There's like it looks like the soil, but then you see little bubbles, and then in the bubbles are more water, and then there's more like little soil within that. And then sometimes even see what looks like the moon within it. So there's layers, and she wants to just like being at the stove and just stirring and then stopping and just watching the hearts, the Fibonacci shows up for you. Like, it's amazing what happens at the stove before you get to your cup. And then you can do the same thing when you have your cup with you. Have a little moment and see what's going on, and then drink.
All right. Judy, I wish you were a little bit more passionate about this stuff. I'm not sure I'm getting that from you, but holy cow.
Oh, so what takes place in the ceremony?
It's so beautiful. So the ceremony itself, we all typically, again, everyone can do this differently, whatever resonates with them. With me, what always resonates with me is to share a little bit of her story before we all drink together. Because sometimes we'll go to a plant medicine ceremony and it's kind of expected that we know and we just drink right away. And I love that as well. It's beautiful. And I love to just share a little bit of this, a little bit more of the story, the cosmic spirit, connecting with her. Then, typically there's a pot usually in the center, and the facilitator, the shaman or the facilitator, will serve everyone. And I personally love to serve to the left because the energy of Mama Cacao is very divine, feminine, energetic, not gender energy, but more of an energetic. Again, know that the feminine, the masculine, feminine is very much receiving, loving, sharing energy, giving energy. The masculine is very much action, get things done, protection energy. And so she has this energy of just helping us. She actually has both, because she helps us with creativity. She helps us to relax, but open up our box of awareness. And so because predominantly she's a very soft, feminine energy, I personally like to honor that by serving to the left, because the left side of our body is the feminine and the right side is the masculine. If you ever notice you have a problem on your left knee or your right knee, it's usually either male or female in your life. That's how you can tell what's going on with me. Yeah, which is a beautiful way.
Back in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle, right? What's going on in the middle? I love that. I love that. And so there's a real honoring. I love to also, everybody gets to hold the cup, and we hold the cup together and pass to the next person. It's almost like, you pass to the next person and you look in their eyes and you're with them. Mm-hmm. You're just in silence for a couple of seconds, holding the cup together as you serve the person, because there's nothing more beautiful than serving someone. Mm-hmm. And so we get to experience that, and we each get to, move the cup into the circle to the next person. And then when we drink, before we drink, I personally love to guide people into speaking to her directly, because most people don't know what that means. They don't know how to do that. So when everyone has their cup, it's guiding everyone into, what would you like to ask her? Is there something you would like to embody in your life right now, to be, do, or have, or would you like some clarity on something? And I like to guide others to say, okay, can you address her before you you ask her something? Address her by name. Ask, Cacao or Mama Cacao, however you feel comfortable, address her, and then say, I have a question. And so I guide them in silence. We're all in silence for about 2 minutes while everyone in their mind and their in their head and their thought is sending that beautiful, they're asking her something. They're connecting with her. And then when that's done, I just like to acknowledge how simple that was and how we can do that every morning, every night, every day, connect with something bigger than ourselves, whatever that is for you. For some of us, it's God. For some of us, it's a plant medicine. For some of us, it's an archangel or an angel. Whatever it is, it's these medicines, these beautiful, I call them medicines because we're in a journey of forgetting, and the medicine helps us to remember. And when we connect to something bigger than us, they start part of our free will. You know, they're waiting for us. I truly believe they're waiting for us to talk to them directly so that they can start showing the mirror to us, reminding us that we are that oneness consciousness. What does it even mean? Help you to understand that, embody that, see that you can think something and receive it, that you can will something to happen, that you can, that our words are spells. And when we go say something terrible about somebody, we're putting that out in the universe for other people to go through that, to really get into this journey of truly embodying that we are those cosmic medicines. They want to show us the mirror. And that starts with acknowledging them, brings them to life. And they need that because, again, we have free will. They're waiting for us.
Yeah.
They can't intervene until we speak to them.
Yeah. I am so in. That's it. I hear Mama Cacao calling out to me right now.
Beautiful.
Now, do you suggest people to start the journey or the relationship with cacao in a ceremony, or can someone just order something online and get it delivered to their house and go from there?
Absolutely. Having something in your house is a beautiful way to start. In fact, after my beautiful journey, a couple of years into my journey, every day connecting with so much devotion, I just had this real beautiful remembering of her. I realized that most people, as much as I would sit in a ceremony and show people, most people would go home and they didn't really know how to continue to connect. Mm-hmm. So I created a beautiful, free 5-day video series. So you drink with me on these videos. We talk a little bit about cacao, the story of cacao. We leave the bit of silence in there, and I guide you into, okay, what are you going to ask her today? Can you address her? You're in silence, and we have a little bit of music. We drink together in silence, and then we're done. And you continue the journey after the video, so that after 5 days, you now have this beautiful practice that you can sit with her. So that, because again, most people, and part of that is a little video of me at the stove, because most people, what do I do? How do I heat it? I don't want to hurt it. What's the story? How does this work? So it's just a really simple, here's what you can do, and how to really be present with your cacao when you're cooking her, and bringing that energy right there and being in that hypnotic, allowing and receiving that hypnotic journey, which is just so beautiful before you even start to drink her.
Oh, that a question just popped into my head that I have to know. So I cook a lot. So after you start doing these ceremonies where you're drinking every morning, can you also take that cacao and incorporate it into other foods just to always have that in there somehow?
I love that. Some people would say no. Some people would say yes. Again, I feel in your heart, would you like this magnificent frequency to be added to your cake or to your protein shake or to whatever? Yes. So I actually do that as well. Right after the ceremony, we always have a little bit left over in the pot. We typically do. Mm-hmm. And I always have a little beautiful little shake and lots of tangerines as a healthy snack for after. And I love to put that into the shake, to mix the shake, so that we can all see that you can just keep using it, keep enjoying her. It's the intention. Mm-hmm. If you remember when you have that cake now, or the shake, or whatever it is, that this is ceremonial. This is and take a moment to be grateful. Maybe again, talk to her and thank her and ask her for something, for some other sort of clarity. Then it just continues that beautiful journey. Basically, the number one thing these medicines want to show us is, in this journey of remembering, they want to help us remember, is to make everything ceremonial. Make everything ceremonial in our life. So yes, if you're about to make a cake and you have leftover cacao from your morning, of course it would be ceremonial, because now you're gonna pour that into your cake, batter a little bit differently. You're going to be more with that. So everything in your life as a ceremony, so that we can truly be present and in this frequency of pure gratitude for being here and for being the creator of every step of our life.
Okay. But
I love that.
Me too. But I just want to clarify to make sure that we're not steering people in the wrong direction.
Yes.
Do you recommend everybody's your 5-day video series? Would that take the place of a ceremony? Would that be their first ceremony? Or do you feel like they should go to a ceremony first and then start experiencing that with you at home on their own?
Yeah. So the 5-day challenge, the little video challenge, I actually call it a ritual. So I don't like to call it a ceremony because you're right. The ceremony is an understanding. Like you need to experience what a ceremony is. There's a very sacred understanding and experience that happens in ceremony of anything, really. When you look at a wedding ceremony, like everything has an intention and sacredness. So the idea is, first, you can certainly, for sure, start drinking for sure. I don't really believe that you need to go to a ceremony first. It is beautiful to go to a ceremony first. I did that. I was like, wow, what is this? Went online, found a ceremony. However, at the same time, if she's calling to you and you want to drink her and begin this practice, this ritual, and then also absolutely see where you can attend a ceremony, even if it's an online or in person, ideally find somewhere in your area where you can join a beautiful ceremony. And then again, just going back to our, how do we honor those who have been the caretakers of this beautiful medicine for thousands of years? It's very important that whoever's hosting that beautiful ceremony, that there is a deep reverence and relationship with the plant medicine and that they have been initiated by the plant medicine to do this. So there was a real, yes, the time is now. Because even when I first started drinking her, it took months. I kept asking her, I was already doing women's circles. Can I bring you into my circles? And I kept hearing from her, no. And I kept asking, and I knew she kept saying, I need to take you deeper. I want you to experience me. I want you to experience what this really is. Be an embodiment and sacredness and devotion of this medicine. And this is why just years ago, it would take sometimes certain beautiful shamans years, 10 years, 12 years connecting deeply with these medicines before they would even share. So it's very, very important that we connect, that it's beautiful that people might want to connect right away and they could buy the ceremonial cacao and drink right away at home in ritual or practice, and then attend these ceremonies to understand even more and then continue their practice at home.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That answers my question because I'm looking up right now online.
Yes. We love it.
Because I'm 100% in. This has been fascinating. I had no idea how much I didn't know about cacao.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Judy, is there anything else that you're called to share with us today?
Yes, I would love, as you were saying that, I went, oh, there's one more thing. Okay. I like to say this sometimes, and it's a little bit radical, this statement, but yeah, I truly believe in my bones that if it were not for our beautiful human family figuring out how to take these incredible, this beautiful cacao pod and the seeds that are in here and grind this and turn this into chocolate, if it were not for them discovering turning this into chocolate, I believe in my heart, in my bones, that cacao would be illegal. Just like many other plant medicines are illegal. Really? That is how profound of a journey you can experience in terms of love and heart. And again, why are plant medicines illegal? That's a whole other discussion. There's been a sort of dishonoring, disrespect, misunderstanding of what it's about. Sure. But because of the power of love that this medicine brings us into, this is why I'm a huge fan of helping people to drink her every morning. Your own little practice, your own little ritual. She will guide you. Talk to her. She will guide you. She will open up new worlds for you. She will open up your heart. She will take you into places and understandings around release, like literally letting go of those judgments and comparisons, and bringing you into a real place of everyone really is an expression of love, and everyone is just here co-creating. And that's why we're seeing some madness and some goodness. And there's all this co-creation happening. And how can we just set aside and know that, but also know that we're on this beautiful trajectory and shift into this beautiful golden age where we're remembering more and more of who we are.
And this is why I reached out to you, Judy, because I know that there is someone on this show right now, this episode, that is all about love And I knew that if I brought it to her attention,
Yes, Karen.
she would have found her home. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise with us. I want to go do a ceremony with you.
I know.
One day. Yes. Thank you so much. This has been such an honor. And everyone on this beautiful, listening to this recording, it's just so much love to every single one of you. This is beautiful. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Right back at you. This has been wonderful. If you are curious about Cacao and want to reach out to Judy to get more information, we're going to lay in all of her contact information in our show notes. So all you need to do is go to skepticmetaphysician.com, go to her episode page, and you'll see direct links laid in there for you. So all you need to do is click and you'll be connected to Judy. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I hope that someday soon we'll be able to enjoy Cacao together.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thanks for coming along on this journey of discovery with us. We'd love to continue our conversation with you on our website at skepticmetaphysician.com or on Facebook and Instagram under Skeptic Metaphysician Podcast. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing the messages we're sharing on the show, do them and us a favor and share the show with them. It will help get the word out about us, and it may just change someone's life for the better. And if you're listening to this on the radio and you missed something, well, not to worry. All of our shows, including this one, can be found at skepticmetaphysician.com, where you can also watch the videos or even send us an email or voicemail directly from the site. We absolutely love feedback and would appreciate hearing from you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as we have. That's all for now. We'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysicians. Until then, take care.